What seemed like a very casual episode of My Dress Up Darling had a couple little snippets of good stuff in here despite that. But we really do see like we're getting into this double cosplay thing, which it's funny because it didn't dawn on me until really this episode that I'm like, well, that means that Gojo has to make two outfits at the same time. So it's gonna be a challenge for him, honestly. But yeah, episode 7 of My Dress Up Darling, as usual, fantastic episode, more great Marin. With a little sprinkle of Juju in there as well. But yeah, kind of continuing the conversation from the previous episode, we do pretty much get, again, pushing Juju to accept doing a co-cosplay or double-person cosplay for this little magical girl thing. I like how the only thing that kind of pushes this tsundere over the limit is money. That she's kind of claiming that she does studio pictures and she has to rent a studio, and of course that costs money. But after accepting this, of course, the question mark comes up for Gojo is, okay, I need to watch this thing, obviously. It was funny because he mentions that, okay, well, I have to watch the show, and she's shocked. Like, well, why do you have to watch it? Just look at pictures. And he's like, no, well, I can't really see how it flows and everything like that. So he's going to do his due diligence, and so he needs to see the actual show itself. And they casually say, oh, it's 126 episodes, and he's shocked. And I'm like, wait, a Magic Girl that's only 126 episodes? That's not too much, but that's... he's going to have some time to that. And of course, he mentions the idea of watching Slippery Girls 1 and 2 to Juju. And I mean, I guess Slippery Girls can be like a really short one, but typically visual novels take seemingly as much time as it does for that long of a series. And then, yeah, Marin offers to let him borrow her DVD set, which is going to be heavy. So he's going to have to go over there. I'm like, well, yeah, DVD set. We literally just talked about this in my live stream the other day. It was about this idea of the DVDs and how they had like, maybe 2-3 episodes on each disc, and so it's a big box set. But yeah, this next scene I really liked. This was kind of the nugget of character development in the episode. Obviously, we have this later part with Kitagawa, Marin getting really goofy, but this was a really good scene because this was a scene between Gojo and his grandfather. And I really love this scene because I didn't really realize what was happening in the scene until they start talking in the later part, and I'm like, oh, this scene is really good. It's obviously has Gojo talking about this next project that he has and all this kind of stuff, but then it comes to like a very long pause. And I thought it was a moment where Gojo's obviously in his head talking about how he's probably getting worse at his craft. But I didn't realize the grandfather was inspecting his recent doll. And this has a moment where the grandfather acknowledges, you're getting better. And this was a shock because the whole thing that they kind of put into place was this idea of Gojo talking to his grandfather in the past, and his grandfather mentioned the idea that you have to keep making things in order to not lose your touch. And so Gojo, having spent all this time on this cosplay, is obviously terrified that he's getting worse, despite this being the thing that he wants to do so bad. But his grandfather acknowledges that he's doing better. The thing that he's always had problems with, which is drawing the face, he's always been good at the fabric, he's just not good at the face, for those that don't remember. So having this acknowledgement that he's getting better at drawing the faces is a huge shock to him. But what the grandfather kind of puts it, and it seems like he's connecting it to what Gojo's currently doing, is he's now doing the makeup for Kitagawa Marin, so he's getting better at doing the faces because he's looking at something besides dolls. And that's what the grandfather says. You kind of have to look at other things than just dolls to get better sometimes. I really did like that. I was like, again, I kind of got into that whole Weeds, the last impressions, this idea that Gojo is, despite the fact that he's doing this cosplay for Marin, he's obviously, this is what he wants to do. And I kind of thought that it was going to be a thing where he's going to realize at some point, I just want to dress something up. It doesn't have to be a doll. And so I thought that was the route it was taking, but no, it's taken a kind of a parallel currently in this idea that he's getting better at the cosplay and the makeups for Marin and stuff, but he's also going to be doing this as well. It could still turn to him going to cosplay and just forgetting about dolls, but we'll see. But yes, this is when we get the visit to Kitagawa Marin's place, and yeah, she immediately opens a door, and she's just all out there, slept in, and in usual fashion for her, he's terrified because he's seeing something that he doesn't think he should be seeing, and she thinks something completely different. Oh, I forgot my contacts. And it was so funny because I almost thought that this is her character, obviously. There's certain things that she seems to have barriers on. Very weird things that she has barriers on. So when we think that she's embarrassed about something, when Gojo thinks that she's embarrassed about something, it's something completely different. And it was the same scene here. Is she's run off and she gets her contacts in, and she also puts on a sweater. And so when I seen that she put on a sweater, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be one of those things where she says contacts, but then she realizes something else. But no, as she's walking into the room, she's still thinking, man, I forgot my contacts. I can't, that's the one thing I can't stand. It's like, girl. But then she does note it later on. She says, oh man, I forgot a bra. But he wouldn't notice that. You didn't notice him eyeballs going beep, beep, beep. You didn't see that direct gaze happen in there. Obviously, he was averting his eyes from her eyes because she didn't have her contacts. And that was death. I got it. I figured out. But then, yeah, she offers to watch it together with him in her room. And yes, we have I don't know why my mind was thinking it was going to be just when she said it's a little bit messy, but it's okay. I was thinking, okay, he's going to open the room and it's just going to be full of just trash everywhere and laundry everywhere. And that was going to be the joke, is like, okay, now he's embarrassed because her clothes are everywhere and her undergarments are everywhere. But no, it just straight turned into, yeah, this right here, she's a straight otaku. She's one of us. One of us. Oh, that was great. Some of those pictures on the walls, I'm like, I kind of want these shows. But it was a cute scene, though. I love seeing the two of them in together in there. And at some point, obviously, she realizes, oh, this is kind of a home date. And then she starts getting a little flustered and can't really control herself. Ends up making rice omelet. I was terrified when she did this because she's like doing the onions like this. And I'm going, oh, please, girls, don't cut your finger off. Of course, technically she has the long fingernails, so maybe she can hold it better. But yeah, she was terrible. I was like, please don't cut yourself. It seems like she can decently cook. It doesn't look great, but it tastes good, so that's fine. And he acknowledges it, which totally helps her out there. And I really thought that was cute. This whole scene was just adorable. We are definitely in the realm of Kitagawa just not really being able to control how she thinks about him. And I think it's absolutely cute. Just the in her mind thing is great. Following this, Gojo sends the sketches over to Juju, and she's, holy crap, this is way too detailed. But this gets into a conversation about the taping process, which I thought was curious, because I thought that Kitagawa talked to Gojo about taping. But I guess technically she just mentioned it. She didn't really get into detail, so I guess he needed an explanation at this point. But that stuff is weird. The taping thing is interesting. Like I said before, I really do like this insight into not just the outfits, but really the details of cosplay itself. And I'm aware of the taping thing, but at the same time, I'm always kind of concerned about it. Like, you're stretching your face a lot. I would think that would probably, over time, be a bad thing, but maybe just there's probably follow-up processes to kind of heal the skin. I totally thought when the moment that she started FaceTiming and then she started showing him how it works and stuff, I was like, this girl is going to forget that she's FaceTiming or something, or he's going to see something in the background, or she's going to put the phone down and see it. I thought they were going to do something with the face call thing, but no, they didn't. Interesting, though, because he did offer to do her makeup and eyelashes, too, which that got into the conversation about photography and how her sister does photography. But I'm still expecting this for later. It went out of its way to have him offer to do hers as well. And I'm kind of wondering, because of how surprised she was at how well Kitagawa looked, that she wouldn't have accepted it. So I'm thinking maybe possibly when they go to do the photo shoot, maybe she will ask him to do it. Like, she'll see how well Kitagawa was done, and then she'll ask at that point with a super tsundere look. But I'm totally expecting it to transition that, because the whole thing right now is, or maybe he'll push it upon her. Because right now, what we got from this episode was that he sees that, or his grandfather sees that he's improving, and it's equating it to doing the makeup and eyelashes for Kitagawa. And so I think him wanting to get better even more and get more experience, he's going to probably very, strongly ask to do Juju's as well. But yeah, the moment that she was offering to have her sister meet up with him and show him how to do the photography, I was like, oh, now he's going to be going out somewhere with this random girl and Kitagawa is going to be super jealous. Nope, he just immediately texts her and she's all in on board with it. It's like all these tropes that I imagine is going to happen. Like, oh yeah, the whole thing where she's following the Gojo and somebody else and trying to figure out if he's dating them. They don't do these tropes. It keeps telling me, no, I'm not doing those tropes. But yes, as usual, despite the fact that she's a middle schooler, she's younger than Juju, who's very, very short and, smaller. Sure enough, the little sister has to be very tall and well endowed. It was funny because she does the whole thing of like, how big are you? And he immediately thinks, again, like we all do, that she means something else. Oh, no, I'm just this tall. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. The sister's cute. It seems like the title of the next episode seems to be really focused around photography. At least the title itself implies photography. So I'll be interested to see a lot of that kind of stuff. I do dabble a little in photography. Obviously, I'm recording this and I've done some figure boxing and pictures. So maybe I'll learn something with the next episode. Like it's never like super hyper detailed with a lot of this stuff, but it gives a little bit of insight into a lot of the things with cosplay and fabric and all this kind of stuff and makeup. So I'd be interested to see if there's going to be a little bit of insight into photography as well and how to maybe improve my stuff. I learned how to photography from an anime. But yeah, fantastic episode overall. Again, watching Marin freak out, seeing her room, how goofy otaku she is, the cooking, and like I said before, the grandfather statements, I think was a real big setup for later. It really does solidify for Gojo that this is something that he can do to help people, but it's something that will also improve himself, to alleviate a little bit of that stress that he has, that he's wasting his time and getting rusty. So that's my thoughts on episode 7 of Dress Up Darling. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what's all the episodes, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video if you can, support us on Patreon through our tips link in the description below. We also have a link to our Discord, where if you like anime and want to talk about it, definitely join us, and y'all take care.